going on, Jerome? It's a beautiful Thursday. Birds are chirping and stuff, and it's time for another Vikings news dump. So, of course, the crooked Chicago Bears hang on to Ryan Poles, bringing in Ben Johnson, and blah, 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 blah. So they're going to take back the North, never give it back. Still waiting. All right, so, yeah, the Bears have made some moves. A couple days ago, they traded for Jonah Jackson, has connections with Ben Johnson, etc. And also, yesterday, they traded for Jumpin' Joe Thuney, four-time Super Bowl champion. He won't be adding to that total. Also, multi-time All-Pro. Get a little bit longer in the tooth, but still is pretty damn solid. But what do we talk about here? All right, so Thuney's going to be 33 in November. What's his absolute peak? How many years does he have left? 1, 2? So somewhere in there. So I understand why everyone's upset, because the Bears are making moves. Free agency hasn't started yet. Blah, 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 blah. But think about it. So Jonah Jackson is due $17.5 million in compensation this year, guaranteed, as well as he can't pass block, because when he was named to the Pro Bowl a couple years ago with Ben Johnson and Detroit, it was mainly his run blocking that did the damn thing. And also, Joe Thuney, hey, he's going to be good for a while. But also, he's in the final year of his huge contract that he got from the Chiefs. And what's going to happen? Is he going to play out the deal? Do you have to give him a new contract? It's probably going to cost you at least $20 million per year. So the Bears, they're making moves, but they're going to have $38 million tied up in 2 offensive linemen, one who can't pass block, one who's a little bit older, and now they're out of the running in the free agent guard market. So for that, we thank you. So I understand the frustration of it, but remember, the Bears won the offseason last year too. How'd that work out? Yeah. But also, hey, if they're in the market for a center who has significant starting experience in the NFC North, come on, baby. Fourth round pick? Why not? Why not? Also, why not? So, we're in a little bit of a holding pattern right now because there's all this rumor and conjecture. Oh, the Vikings, Sam Darnold, want to work out a multi-year deal. Blah, blah, blah. Florio flapping his gums. But it's J.J. McCarthy's turn, man. It absolutely is. And Kevin Connell was on with the great Andrew Whitworth as well as Ryan Fitztragic and, talked about J.J. McCarthy at length. Purple Suasion. Quote, he, J.J. McCarthy, is in here every day. He's working his tail off, and he's healthy, and I'm excited to see him kind of hit the ground running for sure. And as we said, if the Vikings had any worries about J.J. McCarthy not being the quarterback of the future, as well as J.J. McCarthy's knee, Darnold will be signed right now. But he wasn't. And I'm interested to see because, of course, all it takes is one team. But what if Darnold doesn't get paid? Because every single team that needs a quarterback, even in a down free agent year and definitely a down draft year for quarterbacks, they could all separately go a different direction. And what if Darnold doesn't get any significant offers? I think that there is a world where Darnold is out there for free agency for 10 days and all the other teams basically say, nah. And then Darnold circles back to the Vikings and takes, I don't know, maybe like a 1-year, $15 million deal. And it's not to start. But if Darnold comes back in incapacity, it won't be to start with the Vikings. Right? It'll be at maximum open competition. At worst, it will be him backing up J.J. McCarthy. But we'll see what happens. It's still a long ways to go. And as I said, all it takes is one team. All it takes is the Raiders to be like, hey, we'll give you the Kirk Cousins contract. But I guess we'll see. Some will also see. So, Byron Murphy Jr., free agent cornerback. Murph really stepped up last year. 6 interceptions. Looked great. Made the Pro Bowl. Frankly, should have been second team All-Pro. But, yeah. And Murph made some waves amongst the Vikings fans. Posted on the gram. About a 2-minute highlight reel. Him, Vikings uniform, obviously, as well as putting up highlights. Now, some people saw this as a preamble to Murph announcing that a long-term extension had been done with the Vikings. There is interest there. They both collectively pushed back his void year date. But also it just could be like, hey, I'm a free agent, come pay me. Sort of highlight reel. So I guess we'll see. I wouldn't mind Murph back, but like $17.5 million per. Like, we're not talking about $20 million per. If he can get that, go out and get it. But I guess we'll see. If Murph does leave, Carlton Davis could be an option for the Vikings. Vikes fan page. Lions quarterback Carlton Davis III is a name to keep an eye on for the Vikings during this free agent cycle. Ben Gessling mentioned via the Star Tribune, quote, "I've heard a little bit to think that they may be pretty interested there," end quote. Now, Carlton Davis is a stud. The pride of Auburn, coming in from the Plains, has had a nice career, spent most of it in Tampa Bay. Last year signed with Detroit and played well. Had 2 interceptions, and it was feisty and good on the outside, but of course, Lions had a myriad of issues. Carlton Davis actually broke his jaw. It's just rough. But free agent estimate, he's 28 years young, guesstimate at $13.8 million per year. Now, what would you rather do? Would you rather sign Davis at $13.8 or potentially Murph at 17, 18 million per? Somewhere in there. But Carlton Davis is a dude, man. Respected his game with the Buccaneers. He was really solid with the Lions and would fill in a lot of the Vikings' outside cornerback gaps, especially if Murph leaves, especially if Gilly retires, etc. Also, it's kind of interesting. Now, zero interest in Tyler Lockett. Respect for his career, the pride of Kansas State. Remember, like Kansas State and Bill Snyder had like 17 different Locketts. It was awesome, man. But Tyler Lockett, so got released. It's a sea change in Seattle, and they're basically overhauling the roster, right? And Lockett's probably going to sign with Pete Carroll and the Raiders, so that makes sense. But here's what's interesting. So they announced and reported that Lockett was being cut. Literally like 5 minutes later, it was reported that DK is seeking a trade. So there's got to be some bad blood between Lockett and DK, because if you're DK's agent and you don't even allow Lockett to have his day, where, I mean, Seahawks fans love Tyler Lockett, and there was a lot of tributes and a lot of respect. The team rolled out highlights and thank yous and all that stuff. But if you're DK's agent, how do you just throw this hand grenade in on the parade for Tyler Lockett? So there's got to be some bad blood there. But DK, 27, one-time All-Pro, huge physical on the outside, and there's going to be suitors. I mean, you look at the Chargers, you look at probably the Packers are going to be in there, Patriots, usual suspects, but I don't know. Obviously not a fit for the Vikings, but I just thought that was massively interesting. Plus, I just love trades. Trades are amazing, especially this time of year in the National Football League. Opposite trades, some players getting cut, and 2 players that could strike the Vikings' fancy. Jeremy Fowler, ESPN. Teams were notified that 49ers defensive tackle Javon Hargrave, who will be a post-June 1st release by team, is healthy coming off his tricep injury per sources. He will be available to sign March 12th, start of the new league year. Now, they're trying to trade him. Never going to happen, right? But, yeah, John Lynch a couple of weeks ago did say that Hargrave is going to be a post-June 1st release. But even though, well, that's just for, cap situations. Like he and his agent can discuss in the legal tampering as well as sign on March 12th to start the new league year. And Hargrave is a man. So 3-year, $75 million deal going from Philly to San Francisco. And this year had that torn tricep, but he's a dude who can consistently get his own pass rush. Had 7 sacks back in 2023. Had 11 with the Eagles back in 2022. So he is a guy who singularly can disrupt things on the interior and can play 5-tech, 3-tech, basically wherever you need him. I think that the Vikings certainly should be interested in, especially since he was cut. He does not count towards the comp pick formula for 2026. So that'd be huge. Also huge, Jonathan Allen. Now, here's the thing, too. Like, trading a future 4th-round pick, yeah, it's only a future 4th, sure. But then giving a 33-year-old guard a $20 million a year deal, which the Bears are probably going to have to do, that's not Moneyball. Kwesi did very well last year with some veteran free agents, but he didn't pay him a lot, and that's the key. And also that's what's going to happen with Jonathan Allen of the Commies. That's going to happen with Hargrave of the Niners, formerly of the Niners. Silver. If the Commanders can't find a training partner for 2-time Pro Bowl defense tackle Jonathan Allen, he'll likely be released in a cost-cutting move. He's not going to get traded, right? And it's hard for teams to pick up the back end of those contracts. But Jonathan Allen does have some talent, and yeah, he had a down year last year because he had an injury, but did come back for the playoffs. But in the 2 years previous, 2022, 2023, he did combine for 13 sacks, and he's a player that can consistently get his own pass rush still. I don't think that he should be a 3-down player anymore, but bring him in on passing situations, yes. He'll be fresh later in games, later in the season, and he'll give you something. He's a great leader. Jonathan Allen, his backstory is fantastic. He's a gritty, tough dude and can certainly still bring it. So this would be quintessential Moneyball. Getting Hargrave at a cheap rate where he doesn't affect the comp picks, and same thing with Jonathan Allen. Go do that. Also, so if you live in the great state of Minnesota, notably Twin Cities, we got some snow. We measured, it was about 10 inches. And also, it's like that wet, heavy snow. You know what I mean? It's what they call the heart attack snow. And I understand it. So our snowboard has been a little bit wonky donkey. Some with the float, got to fix later. But did most of the driveway. But the end of the driveway that gets hard and packed in by the snowplow, you couldn't get it with the snowblower because it's too thick, it's too tall. Story of my life. But so I shoveled it, and I was thinking to myself, I understand why people have heart attacks shoveling snow, man. It's got to be rough. But also I'm thinking, so our family's insurance deductible has been maxed out because we've had some stuff and things. So I'm just like, hey, if I have a heart attack, at least it's covered. Or some of it. I don't know, man. But Jordan Addison at TCO Performance Center Bar and Grill made it in early in the morning, and he tagged himself Antarctica. There you go. At least, given the weather conditions, Addison can't drive very fast. So for that, we thank you. All right, and let's just get him Uber everywhere, Uber X. So something with a 4-wheel drive. So we'll be good to go in the snow. There you go. But I was kind of enjoying fake spring the last couple. I mean, it was like 50, 55 degrees somewhere there. Hopefully, this is just the last gasp, death throes of winter. And we can move on to bug season and road construction season because that's all it is in Minnesota, man. So there you go. But that's it. That's at a Vikings Thursday news dump. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skull production value.